So the £1 million portfolio is still rolling, obviously, and I have added some more capital. We will go through that. But today we're going to talk about crypto ETNs because I think that is going to be an important building block for people building ISAs if you want some high risk. So today I'm going to go through the core of the portfolio, the dividends, the ETNs, my plan, and other elements that you need to be very, very mindful of. Because crypto could well be a very, very good tool if you know how to use it properly. Now, big disclaimer, this is not financial advice, but I'm hoping a bit of common sense will kind of come about here. There will be a lot of people over the next couple of months, in my viewpoint, talking about these products that are coming out on the 8th of October. Now, I will go through my own portfolio first, so stick with me. Don't just bugger off because you think it's going to be about crypto. It's not going to be fully. But I have been in crypto for a long time. I first invested in crypto in 2016. And the thing is with that, I know what I'm talking about. I've made a lot of wealth through crypto. And I personally believe that people will get really burned on these products because the market, in my viewpoint, is pretty cooked in terms of the market cycle. We have gone up a lot. So I'm putting that disclaimer in nice and early. This video will go through my plan, what my recommendations are, and other bits and pieces that you need to be wary of, because I imagine people are going to be like, oh my God, crypto, it's hot. Let's just buy it. Let's put it in my ISA. Yeah, let's talk about some rule points. So let's talk about first my portfolio. Trading 2-on-2 has changed something. This looks a bit neater, actually. I quite like it. Obviously, what random pumps going on. But I have added this morning, which is fine. Nothing too mental, though. My holdings are doing okay over the course of time. Not amazing, quite slow, but I have made some changes, as you know. But overall, it's not terrible, realistically, right? Now, I have made some, simple investment of £500 over the last couple of days. But more often than not, you got to look at the obvious in the room. Have I been paid dividends? Kind of. A little bit. Nothing crazy, though. So in terms of my overall portfolio, let me have a look at the dividend calculator. Over the course of September, I've had some stuff that I've sold, pay me, which is quite nice. So £103, give or take. Nothing too crazy. But I think October is a bit of a better month, roughly looking at 230, which would be quite nice. But overall, as you can imagine, I am going to be changing my portfolio slightly with this crypto ETN malarkey coming out, but that will be next year. So sorry to disappoint people. It won't go crazy, crazy, boom, boom. It will probably do the opposite effect first because I've got a feeling we're going to come back down very, very soon in the next couple of months. However, the ETF with the All World Fund is doing fantastically well. And as I say, not a lot's really happened that's kind of like spooked me in any shape or form, even when we're looking at like the news and stuff like that, and even ex-dividend shares and all that kind of stuff. It's been okay, realistically. Yeah, there's been a couple of situations around revenue loss on Phoenix, but nothing too disastrous in my viewpoint. The price has been okay, considering I've seen better headlines and worse price action than that. So I'm not overly too bothered about it. But yeah, revenue has decreased by 31% compared to the previous years. However, net loss has narrowed by 73%, improving in financial performance despite revenue drop. So it's one of those, like, it's kind of still in that turnaround phase and it's going to get a bit of an iffy data, but overall, it hasn't been terrible. So I'm keeping my eye on it, but we'll see where we go with it. But in terms of the goal moving forward, not a lot's really changed in the realistic expectations of this. In terms of, obviously, this is not the correct number, but if we're talking about the million mark in and around the area, we are looking at 2041 or potentially 2040. But as I say, we're going to talk about the crypto side of it because I think this is going to be important. I'm going to go through my plan. And what they are more often than not is probably more important realistically, because it could actually be really, really good to grow the fund more, especially the ISA allocation side, if we are clever. By the way, if you've not yet done so, please do hit that subscribe button. It means an awful lot. There's only about 80% of people who are not subscribed watching my stuff, so it'd be nice if you do. So here we go. This is an old article, but I've just put on the screen a little bit of a notice that came on Trading 2-on-2. I passed the knowledge test pretty easily, considering I have been in crypto for a while. Now, this is the thing. The UK is terrible with crypto. And I'll be perfectly honest with you. A lot of people in the FCA don't like it, but now we do have these retail consumer-led products that are FCA approved, UK-based investment infrastructure has been approved basically for this, right? And let me kind of explain what it is in simple terms and why it is also different to crypto. An ETN is exchange traded notes. Simple as that. It's basically a way to buy Bitcoin and Ethereum using the stock market system, the brokers, right? So think of it like an ETF. You buy on an exchange, it tracks the price of crypto, but the difference is the ETN is a debt note issued by the provider, usually 1-to-1 backed by the underlying asset. So essentially, the provider will have to buy the Bitcoin or the Ethereum, and it has to be physical. It stops you from blowing up, basically. So say, for example, if you're buying a Bitcoin ETN, you're not holding Bitcoin yourself. The issuer does that for you, normally through the regulated custodian, wherever that custodian is or whatever the provider is. They will have, hopefully, that security mechanism sorted, because that is where the counterparty risk comes in, which I will go on to in a bit. But these products here have been around before. Actually, in Germany, they've been doing this for a good few years, about 5 years, which is ridiculous, right? But no one's really looked at the fact of it in the UK because we've never been allowed to. Even using cryptocurrency products is really hard work in the UK right now, which is a pain. But in terms of the big providers, you've got the likes of WisdomTree, 21 Shares, ETC Group, Van Heck. You've got Extra, I think, in Germany, which is the main provider. And now, as I say, you're going to start seeing UK brokers do it, which is fine. And Trading 212 are going to open it on the October the 8th, which is okay, not too far away. But as I say, in terms of time frame with the market cycle, it's not good in my viewpoint, because I think a lot of people are going to get obliterated. And I know I've created this channel as a bit of like a journal for myself with a dividend portfolio, and people are enjoying it. But my real expertise is crypto. I've done crypto for so long. I understand the game. And my biggest concern is we're going to see a lot of these traditional market kind of stock market kind of channels that have been doing it really well in their own field jump into this and lose, because it is a very, very, toppy market. And it's a very, very volatile market. And I will go through the 2 funds in Germany to showcase the volatility, because it is absolutely mental. So this is a physical Bitcoin ETP. This is the German one. Bitwise have been doing this one. And yeah, you will notice a couple of things. The fees are ridiculous. The inception, yeah, cool, whatever, came at the low, so we can get a good record of this. Now, the situation is very, very clear with this. It is a decent fund, nearly $1 billion in this, right? Which is cool. But look at the performance. Yes, the performance is boggling, by the way. We know. But that's Bitcoin. If you're in Bitcoin, you'll know. But look at the income, the drawdown. Obviously, it's ruthless. So we have to be very, very mindful, and the volatility of it is absolutely massive. So that is one situation. We do have an Ethereum one as well. This will give you a chalk and the cheese comparison between the obvious in the room, altcoin versus Bitcoin. And this inception date was in 2021. So again, still at that situation where market lows and all that kind of stuff, but nowhere near as good. And you can see the overall performance of horrible, right? But you can see the volatility, 66%, 59%. Bloody hell. So yeah, you have to have a game plan. And luckily, I do. But I do want to talk about some stuff here, right? Because I think I'm going to get asked questions, and I know I am going to get asked questions. So I'm going to try and cover them, right? Why use one of these? I know you're asking it. Why do that versus self-custody? So there's 2 situations with this, right? One, you got convenience. There's a lot of skill involved with buying in crypto. And I still believe, and let me know in the comments if you think crypto is a scam, because I know a lot of people will. I will say this, Bitcoin is the best investment you can look at in terms of what it is, right? Do your research on it. Check out why it's really, really good. And I think people don't understand how money works if they kind of label crypto as a scam, especially Bitcoin. I understand altcoins as a scam. That is totally, totally fine. You can crack on with that. And I believe that myself. There's a lot of money grabbers and a lot of Wild West, right? But focus on the obvious, right? Convenience, as I say, you buy and sell within your ISAs or within your investment broker, and you don't have to worry about wallets. You don't have to worry about private keys. That's really good. Tax efficiency. If this is going to be wrapped up fully in an ISA, you don't have to worry about shielding your gains. But as you can imagine, with that, you've got the offset of what if you lose? You can't offset them taxes. Fair enough. It's also regulated. You're dealing with a listed product, not shady exchanges. But there is an element that you could lose it. So because of that, You could talk about the cons of this easily. You don't own Bitcoin. They are not your keys. They are not your coins. Simple as that. That is the fundamental element of this, right? You have counterparty risk. The issuer, if ever collapses or it gets hacked or whatever happens to that Bitcoin or Ethereum, whatever it may be, you could lose easily. And it probably is only covered for so much money in terms of insurance policies. And then the obvious fees. You're looking at 1 to 2% per year to hold it, which is fair enough. So for me, I think it's good for exposure without the faff. I think it's good if you understand crypto and you want to leverage that knowledge to put it into your ISA for tax efficiency, buy it low, sell it high, redistribute that profit into your dividend stocks or into your ETFs. That might be great in my viewpoint. And that is kind of where I'm going to go with my plan. If you've came to my channel from my crypto side, you will know that I have a lot of experience in this. I first bought Bitcoin here in 2016, back at the $700 level marks. And I've had a fundamentally life-changing experience of entire wealth profile, my career, the whole lot, and I owe it down to Bitcoin. And I'm hoping that my knowledge will help people on this channel if you're coming in from a different angle, right? Because as I said before, a lot of altcoins are really wishy-washy and horrible. I've seen multiple bull and bear markets. They are brutal. What I've learned is that crypto does move in cycles. Simple as that. There is only one way to win. You need to buy in the bear and you need to take profit in the bull and try not to time bottoms, try not to time tops. You have to do so many different things. And ultimately, there's so many different charts and metrics and stuff you can look at, which will help you understand liquidity flow and where things are going and ultimately what the scams are. I'm hoping that the ETNs will only offer the obvious in the room here, which is obviously Bitcoin, the likes of Ethereum, probably a couple of others here and there. But it is brutal. So let's go through my plan. So my plan moving forward, I'm not going to do it immediately. Nowhere near immediately, by the way. So curb your fucking emotions. I'm going to be adding a new pie and I'm going to split my portfolio 80-20, basically, right? So £20,000 is my full allocation as of today, obviously. And I will be putting 16,000 in the UK dividend growth fund, which has the ETF and my dividend stocks. And the remaining £4,000 per year will literally be going into, guess what? Cryptocurrency. Why not? And it's also going to go into some cryptocurrency miners, data centers. And I've been really bullish on them in the past. And I missed out actually on some gains. I have made some money on them, but I didn't hold them for long enough because they were very, very volatile as well. But I will go through that in more detail. But as I say, most of the ISA will be basically to the dividend fund. And the goal is to kind of have the exposure at the lows and take profit and move that profit into cash, then into the obvious in the room, that fund, my main portfolio, to hopefully compound and grow the fund through the allocations and kind of manipulate the system a little bit with profit, obviously, because profit is king, right? You can redistribute your profit in your ISA and you don't have to worry about it. Yes, if you can take it out, you can't put it back in, obviously, with the allocations, but you can keep it in there, right? Yeah, you can. So that makes more sense. So there is cryptocurrency volatility here, but obviously with dividend compounding over the course of time from them profits, buy low, sell high, reinvest into dividend stocks or into the all-world ETF, it could be a really good way to accelerate the growth going forward. But as I say, right, we look at the charts of crypto, and I know for some people, a lot of this is like, oh my God, what a load of nonsense. But the markets are absolutely brutal, right? This is the Bitcoin chart. We go up, we go down. It's market sentiment. It's quite easy to follow if you're looking at certain things, certain metrics, and you've got to have that experience to know how. But like I say, if you were buying an average at the lows and you're taking profit at the highs, you're up loads. And I've already showcased it. I've already showcased it on the Bitcoin ETF here, or the ETP, sorry. Look at the results over the course of time. And yes, you've got situations of like big money runs, and you can see the green months, right? But you can also see the red. You've got to be very, very mindful of what happens in it. If you work with the cycles, it could be great. And yeah, I know for some people it could be fantasy, but you know, even a 100% move on Bitcoin from bull market and bear markets, they do work and they do pay off pretty well. Warnings and risks here, right? As I've alluded to it many times, not financial advice, but I am not doing this until the bear market. I am not touching these. I will be looking at them. I will be watching how much money flows into them. I will be watching other content creators to see what they think. But for me, this is not safe. This is a high-risk satellite play in a way where you could get absolutely destroyed on your ISA, which is why only 20% of my entire ISA fund will be used for it, and it will be split up further. So my other split will be into obviously the two ETNs, which are currently going to go live, and it will also go into, I'll just go down and show you, some Bitcoin miners. So data centers. Now this is, I know, sorry. This is IREN. This was one that I did have. I actually sold it for profit, but it fucking blew up basically, went mental. You've obviously got the Bitcoin blockchain cryptocurrency fund here, which is really, really good and really, really solid. I've talked about that before on the channel. That could be an option of exposure too. You've obviously got other ones such as HUT, which is another data center. You got Wolf, which is also another data center. So stuff like that around the AI and data mining, the mining side of it, could also be another factor here. So how it will kind of look is I'll have 20% of my entire allocation. I'll have the ETNs, I'll have these and the ETF as well. So it won't be congested into one massive big squishy ball. It will kind of make it a much, much better kind of spread out area. So it's not full on counterparty risk, hopefully, because there will be stocks in there and there will be hopefully an ETF. But as I say, these conditions could allow in the bear market to get some really good entry points, sit on your money, and hopefully, fingers crossed, in the bull market, reward with the loot, and guess what? You move it and rotate it over into the other side of the market, which is obviously dividends, the safer plays, and the ETF. So dividends are still going to be the play. They are going to be the growth fund over the course of time, along with the all-world fund. But cryptocurrency could be realistically the accelerator, the rocket fuel. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think of these ETN products. I'm hoping my knowledge will help people on this channel as I talk about it every now and again. But as I say, I do worry that it's going to be pretty crazy. And I think, as I say, the market is pretty cooked and it could come down in the next couple of months if we're talking about the 4-year cycle theory. So just be very, very, very mindful. But if you're not yet done so, please do like, subscribe, and comment what you think, as I say, and watch this video here.